That staffing issue, that was, I think, one of the things that really was tough for him, was because he chased so many people away. But he's also been attacking Ron DeSantis, and Ron DeSantis has been now fighting back over the issue of each state's response to COVID. Trump is president and Ron DeSantis is governor of Florida. Have a look at what Ron DeSantis had to say here.
So look, I'm going to respond to attacks. I mean, if you say Cuomo did a better job with COVID than Florida did, first of all, that's not what he used to say. This is like new. Like 6 months ago, he would have never said that, right? He used to say how great Florida was. Hell, his whole family moved to Florida under my governorship. Are you kidding me?
Nick, this comes after Donald Trump said that New York did a better job than Florida, essentially, on COVID, which I don't think anybody believes. Is Ron DeSantis right to hit back, or are they just going to get stuck in the mud here over a pandemic that everybody just wants to forget?
Yeah, it's a really good question. It's not about the pandemic that everybody wants to forget. It's a question of there's a saying in American politics is that you don't get down in the mud with pigs because they like it, and all you do is get dirty, right? And you have to ask yourself, is Ron DeSantis doing the right thing by sort of going toe-to-toe with Donald Trump? I happen to think he's not. I think his better play would be to say, I'm the same policies as Donald Trump without the baggage. I'm Donald Trump without the porn star hush money payments, okay? You can poke him without trying to punch him in the face. Keep in mind, there's rumor here that Chris Christie is going to announce for president next week. I'm actually in New York City as we're doing this, and I'm meeting with Chris Christie tomorrow. And I fully expect Chris Christie to be the person who comes out slugging at Donald Trump, which means that Ron DeSantis doesn't really need to do it if he wants to. He's going down this path. It'll be curious to see if it's what the voters in Iowa and New Hampshire, those two early states, like. I don't think it's the right thing for Ron to do, but I'm not running for president. He is, and the proof will be in the pudding.
Finally, Mick, let's bring it back to where we started. Joe Biden and his run for re-election, assuming he does, as we talked about. But leaks have come out that he plans to tap, quote, an expansive stable of friends and allies to go where he can't, say what he won't, and be what he'll never be. This, according to NBC News. Is this a wise strategy, essentially this campaign by proxy? Is this a new version of campaigning from the basement?
Yeah, he doesn't have a choice, because that's right. Keep in mind, and you're absolutely right, the campaign from the basement is the right analogy. You had an excuse to do that in 2020 because of COVID. People did not consider it to be unusual. In fact, many people considered it to be safe. So you had the cover of the pandemic to explain why you were in your basement. Literally, by the way, that's not just throwing away terms. He actually sat in his basement and campaigned from there. He can't do that anymore. And the Democrats know it. And he's never been a good campaigner anyway. The man is a gaffe machine. And that's not just because he's getting older. He's been a gaffe machine since he was in his 40s. So no, this is going to be a problem. You can't campaign by surrogates, especially in some of these smaller swing states. Okay, states like Wisconsin, states like Iowa. Those are folks who want to see the candidate in person, shake the hands, look them in the eye. They take their responsibility as voters very seriously in those states. And if you aren't there pressing the flesh, you will pay a price for it electorally. So no, it's a very, very dangerous thing for the Democrats to do. But given Biden's physical limitations, I'm not sure they have a choice.
Mick Mulvaney, thank you so much for your insights as always, and we'll speak next week. Now, we've got a lot more U.S. report to come, including Don Jr. But first, a little bit more of Joe Biden doing his Grandpa Simpson routine at the Air Force Academy.
A few months ago, I called to speak to my national security advisor. He was out here, but I was told he was unavailable. Turns out, First Andrew Deaver had him out doing loops and barrel rolls on a glider. I asked if I could do that today, and the Secret Service said, no, we'll have to shoot it down.
What's he talking about? I got no idea.